Thank you for joining today. We got our first project, and that project hit the minimum voting of 300 votes. We also did, as a team, we took a look at the idea and we liked the idea and also think that it's quite feasible. So we'll be developing that idea. The idea was submitted by D, and this is for an interactive browser-based Ludo game. So essentially, it's a Ludo game that we'll be developing today. This will be an HTML5 Ludo game. AppTV.dev is an idea to MVP. Well, we call it VVP, build service, and we have a community behind what we do. In order to deliver the MVP within the, whether we're talking 3-hour or 6-hour window, we take advantage of today's modern AI tools. So whether it is Copilot or Google Gemini, but for today's project, we'll be using Lovable. All right, so I just talked about Superbase. We'll be using Superbase for the backend. Fortunately, Lovable has very good integration with Superbase. All right, so that's by way of intro. Let's get started. All right, awesome. All right, so there are a few comments that have come in on that idea. I wanted D to adopt Mr. T's suggestion here. He says here that he actually likes the suggestion, which is for skins. D has actually identified some key features of the app. He's talked about anonymous play and multiplayer options. So we have someone in the chat. Awesome. We've got D online. So develop a Ludo game which allows users to flip face down and give it a shake in order to simulate the thrill. So here's the thing, and that's why being able to test this right away is very good, because it means that I can test it on my phone. Rolling a dice like a classic board game. Let's introduce the user account later on. This happens to be the key feature with this app. Generally, the more information that you can provide to the agent about your app, the better. I would like to start with this, and then we can lay out. Still working at it. Wow, how to play. Shake it 3 times to roll the dice, or simply tap to roll. So I'll create a Ludo game with a shake to roll dice feature. This evokes the tactile joy of physical board games. Think bold primary colors, playful animations, and satisfying haptic feedback. Nice. So it goes and talks about the design, pulsing glow effect during shake detection, and then breaks this down by version. And so this is meant to be the version 1. Interactive Ludo board, face down plus shake detection for dice rolling, animated dice with realistic tumble effect, visual feedback during shake mode, turn-based player indicator. I'm curious to know how the turn system works. My guess is that it assumes that both players in the same location, and then they just pass the device from one person to the other to take their turn. By the time we get to integrating the back end, you can actually create a feature where 2, 3, or 4 people at different locations can actually play the game. Let's test it. Test that preview. There's a prompt here asking for me to grant the app access to motion and orientation. I'm just going to allow a link which requires authentication, right? But once I publish it, the published link would not detect the shake, then it errors out. I'll share the link in the chat, enable shake to roll, and then let's try this. Oh, look, It worked. You rolled a 2. This is not phone dependent. I'm hoping that these APIs are all standard APIs, right? Oh, so it actually isn't face down. So face up, 1, roll the 5. Let's do it again. Roll the 3, roll the 6, roll the 6 again. 1, 2, roll the 5. There is, which is strange because you would think this is face up. All right, so face up, there is a count here that says 0 of 3 shakes detected. So it has to detect three shakes, right? And then, that translates to a number. So roll the 6. Oh, not bad. Do that again. 2, roll the 1, and yeah, just like rolling the dice, roll the 2. Oh wow, this is cool. This is cool, D. Roll the 5, roll the 4, roll the 2. All right, so the trick, and this, I had just had to discover this from testing, right? Because I didn't read the code. The trick is to keep your phone facing up, not down like our requirement says. How are you shaking yours? Mine seems to be stuck on shake to roll. So let me just go into this. So what I do is I have my phone facing up. You can see the message there. With my phone facing up, I then shake in this axis, and I can see it flash, and it tries to detect that I did this 3 times. For my phone, you need to give it quite some. It's probably another way to work out. Can we allow just a single shake? My hand will come up off if I keep shaking this. Okay, so immediately roll trigger when 3 shakes detected for future reference. All right, back to the app. Now we know that our shake to roll feature is working. Next, we probably want to also be able to see our board, because right now we actually can't see our Ludo board. So let's get on with that. The shake to roll feature works once I figured to keep my phone screen facing up. Fine. Now proceed displaying so my prompt here says the shake to roll feature works once I figured out that I had to keep my phone screen facing up, which is fine. Now proceed to displaying and implementing the Ludo board, assuming both players are in the same location, passing a single device to take turns. I have never seen a Ludo board that looks like this. Oh, I see what it's trying to do. Okay. Yeah, so it says the 2-player Ludo board is now implemented with tokens in home bases, turn-based gameplay, and the ability to move tokens by tapping them after rolling. Roll a 6 to bring tokens out of home. Okay, good. So it understands the rules of the Ludo game. However, the design here still needs some work. Let's test it as it is. Now I have no tokens. They're all gone. Okay, so sort of works, but still needs some work. All right, we noticed that the tokens disappear after the first move. Once I had a 6 and tapped on the tokens, they came out, and then once I tapped on it, they disappeared. Looking at the code, it appears only one of the players has a path defined. I want the AI to do that check, and then we also are trying to fix the bases, because right now we see just 2 bases. A Ludo board always has all 4 bases. Oh, are those my dice? The 2 that came out? I think this is good progress. We built the board with SVG with all 4 colored bases, proper path cells, home stretches. Looks pretty good. And fix the token position logic using player relative positions. Tokens should now move correctly along the visible path. All right, so let us test this out. Tap to roll. No valid moves for green. Skip turn. Tap to roll. 3. tap this guy from here, tap to roll, got 5. Moves appear to be short by 1 position. The thing with Lovable is that after prompting the agent, it turns out that it does something that you do not like or doesn't work the way you expect. You can always use this button right here to revert back to that point, right? So if this ends up not doing or just doing something way off, I can always go back. I can always revert back to just before my prompt and then prompt it again. And that looks a lot better. It looks good. This looks good. I am impressed. I'm very impressed. We're able to move our tokens based on the dice roll. Now, there are other rules to Ludo. You want to be able to, well, so there are safe zones, and that's what those stars are, 3 safe zones. Now, what happens is if you end up, so let's say green comes out, and then say I come out with a 6 and a 2, and that lands on this guy because the red token is not in a safe zone. It means that I would end up returning it. Good. Start to roll. Another 6. Good. Let's go. Tap to roll 3. We got 3. Oh, look, it has updated the safe zones. Now we've got 4. And this looks pretty good. Looks like we're good. Did you see that? So, moved 4, and then 4 ended up returning the green token that was right here, which is what we expect. Awesome. All that worked pretty well. I'm quite impressed. It's been 2 hours since we started this build, and it's going pretty well. At this point, we might not be able to go through the entire backend, but I think for sure what we want to do is multiplayer, right? So we want to be able to have 2, 3, or 4 players join in to play. That will be of good value. We've got, and then on top of that, we already have the turn taking figured out. What else did we have? Oh, anonymous play. So it appears that D wants users to be able to create accounts. With 1 hour left on the time, I think what we will do is the accounts will not be authenticated accounts. Basically, you will just end up being able to create a name to access a board. You would also be able to invite. How would that work? Okay, so the way that will work is we will now just take notes here. So, and please feel free to jump into the chat, D. Let me know if this all makes sense. So, multiplayer. So we also have type player. I can create using invite link. Good. So we've got invite link. You can always go in, start a new game, enter your username. Once you're in there, you get a link that you can copy and share on your socials, share on your WhatsApp, share with your friends, and then using that link, they get invited to the board, then you guys can play. We will not be creating authenticated user accounts today. And what else? Oh yeah, the lobby also will not be doing today, but I believe this is going to be a good first start. All right, let's get right into it. Let me make sure that I have everything I need. Integrating Superbase. Okay, continue. Shake, roll, Ludo, connect, and then, yep, now it's connected. All right, the app is now connected to Superbase. You can now work with a fully featured backend and add powerful features. User account, store on this, and advanced features, set functions. So that looks good. Let's get back to prompting. So now we're gonna do backend. Multiplay one can start an invite link is generated, which they can share with friends. Following this, they can enter the game, wait for others to join, and expect player to join. Anyone can click to start. Category of users called create. I'll leave it to the coding agents to decide how to implement the UX. All right. So there's a category is called spectators. Create board, multiplayer, invite to board. Use an invite link. Once again, go through this. We end up with the multiplayer feature. What is your main goal with this project? I'll go ahead and answer this and let us fire away. Let's see who's in the chat. Okay, we've got some more work to do here. Fix function for generate invite code. Okay, so let me just keep playing while 5, 2, 6. 2, 3, 6. Tap to roll again. Ooh, another 6. Tap to roll again. 2 this time. Okay, so it has done some things, but has left my project in a broken state. Yeah, so let's just click on try to fix. There's still some errors. Cannot read properties of this and that. All right, so let's try to fix this guy. So while that is being fixed, let's take a look at our database. The database currently has got 4 tables: game chat, game players, game tokens, and then games, right? We can still play locally, right? Our original approach of local play. Yeah, we can improve this because it assumes by default that we want 2 players, and then I also think that with 2 players, you want those 2 players on opposite sides this way, diagonally, right? What I don't see here is the ability to exit. So in the local mode, the ability to exit back to the main page, opposite, e.g. red, yellow, blue, green. All right, so there are 3 things. I'll just use this button here to go back to home. Let's create a new game. That's my display name, and just call it my name, and then join this player. All right, so there's a link. All right, so there's me here, and then we're in the lobby just waiting for other players to join. We need at least 2 players. I'm just going to use that link and then join from another browser here. Shake and roll. That's the game code. And so I'm just going to use, let's call him Hugo. And so join as player, and that is Hugo. And oh, we've got chat too. Does chat look like it? And do hello. Oh yeah, that pops up here. All right, so then let's start game. Hugo just rolled a 6. Fantastic. So I actually requested changes for local mode. Okay, so our changes are done. Let's take a look. All right, so these are the 7 changes that were made. Ooh, what did it do? Okay, so let's add those 2. Then I publish, and I think we can call it, I can call it there. Right. So, I mean, there might be question in mind that so what happens next? Once this is completed, because the idea owner had indicated that the project should be completed within 3 hours, we then are constrained to just 3 hours. Publish this now. I need to do a scan. Yeah, I guess that's much. All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much to the community for coming up with the idea for this Ludo game. I had fun building this today. I'll leave the link to the app in the chat, and hopefully everyone else has fun playing it as well. Until next time, look forward to your ideas.
I hope you found inspiration watching the App TV developer bring that idea to life. This is the power of the apptv.dev community in action, quickly making your app ideas a reality. We can't wait to hear about your next idea.